Afternoon to you both, gentlemen. Sir Richard, let me start with you. Existing shareholders are taking $300 million in cash out of the business as part of this fundraising. How much will you be taking out of that?
Well, I've put in, close to $1 billion, and we own 80% of the company, so we'll be taking out, 80% of that.
Right. And how much of the listed entity will Virgin Group own on an ongoing basis post the flotation?
We'll own 51% or potentially a little bit more, but we will still keep control after the float.
Now, this obviously comes not long after you turned down a $1 billion investment from Saudi Arabia. They offered to put $1 billion into this venture. Why did you drop your interest with the Saudis?
Well, they were talking about investing in Virgin Galactic and also Virgin Orbit. As far as this particular float's concerned, it's just Virgin Galactic. And I think the reason we decided not to push ahead with the Saudis has been well documented. We felt that the killing of Khashoggi was unacceptable and that it wouldn't be appropriate for us to take money from them. So when I was approached to go down this route, well, you can talk to Chamath and see it from the other side, but we decided that this was a good route for us to go as an alternative.
Well, Chamath, let me bring you in at this point. The business is valued at $1.5 billion post-IPO. That looks pretty racy for a business that has never made a penny in profits and hasn't even launched its commercial flights yet.
Well, I mean, I think it's important to ground this in what the next few years will look like. So, we have already 600 customers. They've already given us $80 million. We have 2,500 more people in the waiting list that want to be customers. This is a business that will commercialize in the next 12 months, and it's a business that will be profitable by mid-2021. So what we're talking about now is a company that is very similar to other very compelling technology businesses right at the foot of its breakout growth. And so from a risk-reward perspective, I actually find it very compelling. In fact, so much so that I asked Richard for the opportunity to invest another $100 million of my own money personally into the deal, which he let me. So I actually think the risk-reward on this is really compelling.
I mean, Virgin Galactic is obviously in a race with some very well-heeled competitors, the likes of Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, to do the first commercial spaceflight launch. What gave you confidence, Chamath, that Virgin would win this particular race?
Well, in fact, when I called Richard and asked to start to get to know the team, that was about 9 months ago. And in those 9 months, my team and I did the same level of diligence that we've done when we've made some of our best investments, whether it's in Bitcoin or Amazon or Slack, or when my team and I helped build Facebook. It was that same level of technical precision that we applied to understand why he would be the first to actually do this. And what we saw was a business that was frankly incredible. Now, the other thing to keep in mind is that beyond the technical proficiency, this will, for many years, be capacity constrained, meaning there are many, many, many more people that want to go to space than there is room to fly them. And so whether it's us or our friends like Elon or our friends like Jeff Bezos, we will all be in service of humankind's desire to travel into space. And I think that each of us will have a chance to build a great business. But what I can tell you from my and my team's perspective is that we have built something, and Richard's team has built something that will start commercializing in less than a year, and we think is really best in class.
So, Richard, you've had 1 or 2 bumps in the road along the way here in terms of getting to this point. How confident are you that you will genuinely be able to hit the targets that you've set for yourself in terms of launching flights?
We're confident. I mean, this has been a 14-year development program. In the last few months, we put two Virgin Galactic spaceships into space. 5 people became astronauts. And that's the first 5 people from American soil since 2009. So, so I think we are slightly ahead of our competitors as far as putting people into space. We're moving the whole operation to this beautiful spaceport in New Mexico. We'll be doing some more test flights there. And then, next year I'll be going up and we'll start taking the public up. But what this enables us to do is to build many more spaceships and motherships and ramp up the program, because, as Chamath said, the demand, way outweighs supply. And the more spaceships we can get, the more we can, enable people who want to go to space to have that chance.
Now, you've had not all of your experiences with public markets in the past have been particularly happy. Would you have rather retained this business as in the private sector? Would you have preferred not to have had to go on public?
Well, I've been in business for 50 years, and the first company I took public, Virgin Records, we took public a year before the stock market crash, and we bought it back. But since then, we've had tremendous success in the public markets. For instance, the last two companies that we took public, Virgin America and Virgin Money in England, both have done extraordinarily well. And we've benefited the shareholders, and they've helped us grow. So I think we know, how to run a public company. We get a great team in place that are very capable of it. Yeah, I feel confident, and I think it's an exciting company for the public to be involved in.
All right, Chamath, very briefly, how quickly do you expect to... Go on. How quickly do you expect to recoup your investment, Chamath?
There's always an appetite. Sorry, we're speaking past each other. What I would say is that I think that this is a business that is really fairly valued. By 2023. According to our projections, it's a business that will do almost $600 million in revenue and almost 50% profitability margins. It's, in fact, very similar to many of the best-run software companies, but it just happens to be a hardware company that is in the business of spaceflight. So I think that within the investment period that we've looked at, which is in the next 4 or 5 years, it'll be a very profitable, highly valued business. And if I may, just on this last point, I would like to say that there is always an appetite for great consumer brands in the public markets. And the reality is that this is one of those indelible businesses run and founded by an indelible entrepreneur. And so I think that this was not a decision about whether to go public or not. It was just really a decision to allow the public markets and public investors and the public at large to celebrate something that is really revolutionary and will be an incredible business.
All right, we've got to leave it there, I'm afraid. Gentlemen, thanks very much for your time. Sir Richard Branson, Chamath Palihapitiya, thank you.